Somebody's here, but I don't know who it is, like always. All right. I guess we'll wait a couple minutes, see what's cracking. I see somebody in here, but I don't know who it is. Who's that? Who do we got there? It's Raw and Uncut. You know how we're going to do this? You know how we're going to run it? There's all kinds of bullshit going on, right? Bull-ish going on. Nothing but distractions. Nothing but distractions, okay? Now, what we're doing here is a little experiment. I've been popping in here and there to see when are the best times to go live. But what I've been noticing here is it's kind of difficult to figure that out, you know what I'm saying? In terms of just popping in every now and again or whatever, right? But the reason why I wanted to get on right now is I see some stuff about Russian warships and nuclear warships and a nuclear submarine in Cuba and shit, right? You see the stuff with CAYTLIN Clark. See the stuff with China. You see the stuff with all these celebrities. You see the stuff with Diddy. You see all this stuff cracking off. All this stuff cracking off at the same time. And you think it's a coincidence? You really think this is a coincidence? Like, did it ever occur to you that all this might be a script? That they are just sticking to the script? You know what I mean? Like, this shit with Russia right now, like, to me, it's just a bunch of bull. You feel me? It's a bunch of bull. If Russia's ever going to creep on us, they're going to have to creep on us because our motherfucking military escorted them into the fucking Caribbean. They ain't sneaking up on nobody. Them Russians are not sneaking up on anyone. I will guarantee you. Everything has to be so sophisticated. You know what I'm saying? If they're gonna. Oh, yeah. Hey, what's up? What's going on? Glad you're here. I see someone else here, but I don't know who it is because they ain't commented. But thank you for being here, Miss 5250. Oh, good. You're not 5150. I ran into a few of those back in the days. Let me tell you. Woo, that's crazy. But yeah, man, I don't know. I was just tripping on the whole thing with the Russian warships and all that, right? And everything that's going on. And it's like, what a coincidence, right? They got the Diddy shit going on. They got the CAYTLIN Clark. Now, the stuff with CAYTLIN Clark, I want to say, like, everything ties in together. Okay. There's a lot of stuff's numerology. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And a lot of stuff's numerology, right? And CAYTLIN Clark. Oh, I fucked up my camera. Hold on. CAYTLIN Clark. Oh, well, it'll adjust on its own. The whole thing with CAYTLIN Clark, right? Her name, both of her names start with a C, her first name and her last name. You know, the third letter of the alphabet, 33. Everything is always going to go back to you know who. Everything's always going to go back to those that control the whole fucking ball of wax. They control it all. All this stuff that they're putting out on the news right now is what? Fear, right? It's all fear-based. It's always fear-based. Everything that we see on the news, more than likely, like 90% of it's going to be fear-based. If it's not the weather, if it's not a small little feel-good story they pop up in there once in a great while, if it's not something local, sports, or whatever, it's all just bad shit that's going on in the world. Somebody just got shot and raped around the corner. A kid got hit by a car. You know what I mean? There's somebody going into somebody's houses and they're burglarizing them and raping women. And there's a serial rapist, serial murderer. It's always some scary shit. And then it's always something with China and always something with Russia and always something like this every day. It's the same. It's the same. And it just gets worse, right? Now, me, even if I don't pay attention to it, it gets brought to my attention by family members or whatever, right? And then I have to look into it because I want to see what the hell we're dealing with and what is this all about. Now, some people might say it's biblical. Some people might say it's biblical, right? And it could be, or they could just be sticking to a script. It could be that plan from a few hundred years ago. It could be that plan from a few hundred years ago, and they're just playing it all out because they need to. They say there's too many people. They say there's too many useless eaters. There's too many people here that ain't worth the fuck. There's certain people, they don't want to help the sick. They don't want to help the old. They don't give a shit about certain things that we do care about as a society, as as an American, we care. Like, we want to take care of our sick. We want to take care of our unfortunate. We want to take care of the kids that need the help. We want to take care of the families that need help. That's what we do here. That's what makes this country the greatest country in the world, is we're able to do that. You know what I'm saying? We're able to do stuff like that and have the situation that we've had. But I see there's some people out there, and don't get me twisted on this. You know how I feel about Joe Byron, right? You know how I feel about Joe Byron. Yeah, I'm on that. Yeah, I'm on that. That's what I was going to just mention about Byron, Joe Byron, Hunter Byron. Like, come on, bro. The U.S., the way it's being looked at by the rest of the world and has been looked at for the last couple of years, and what we're being looked at right now is a very weak country, right? We're being looked at as a fucking weak country. They're looking at our representatives, our so-called representatives, right? And they're thinking that we're all like that. They know that we are the last country. They know that we're the last country in the world where its citizens can bear arms. They understand that, and they know that it won't be a walk in the park out here. But when you're talking nuclear warfare, right? And you're talking, everything that's going on with Diddy, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, we can't forget that. Everything else across the board, CAYTLIN Clark, and you just think about everything they've been throwing at us, right? Everything they've been throwing at us. It's all for a reason. It's all, like I say before, and I always say, and I've been saying this for 25 fucking years now. They got to show you the left hand. So what? You don't see the right one coming. And whatever that is, and whatever it may be, I don't know. But I do know when shit like this keeps getting projected onto the TV screens and the news media and all that, there's always some shit playing out somewhere that we can't see. And unless you're digging it up and looking for it on yourself, you're not going to see it. Oh, got you. Hey, thank you. Thank you, ladies, for tuning in. It looks like I got all ladies up in here, and I appreciate anyone being here, but it looks like we got the ladies tonight, and I'll appreciate that. But for sure, man, it's like so much stuff, right, going on. You ain't hearing nothing about Venezuela, South America. We just saw what happened in Mexico. We just saw what happened in Mexico. And I think what happened in Mexico with the Jewish woman winning the presidency, which everybody knows, I'm not going to go into detail, but everybody knows that was a election where she was picked and put in the office. And she was picked and put in the office, not by the government, but by the other. I'm not going to speak on that, but you know what I'm talking about. And they are directly linked to China. The people I'm talking about that seated that president in Mexico, the first woman, and she's a Jewish woman. She's not even of Mexican descent, okay? Let's keep it a buck. She's not even from this hemisphere. Let's keep it a buck. I'm just saying, right? That, I think, has something to do with what Russia's doing. Even though they say it's a normal exercise, this is what they do. They always do this. Yes, but the timing of it, no. It's the left hand. They're showing the left hand. But understand, it's chess. It's not checkers. It's never going to be checkers. So for people to sit back and think that this deliberate move to show at this time right now with Trump and everything going on, if people think that they're just going to come out and show us these warships and this nuclear warships as they're trying just to scare us? No. That has a metaphoric meaning. There's a whole lot of meaning behind that movement. The movement in Mexico with the president, shit going on in China, stuff going on with Diddy, stuff going on with CAYTLIN Clark. Everything is all tying in together, right? This is all together. None of this is just happening by coincidence, by happenstance. None of this shit going on is by accident or, oh, it's God's will. No, this is all pieces on the checkerboard. The checkerboard that normal folks watch and think, they think that that's really what's going on. Yes. Yeah, and you know what? They can flex a lot of things. One thing I won't say they can flex, you already know, but them motherfuckers, they can flex. And that's what they're doing. That is what they're doing. They're showing, hey, look at what we can do right now. Look how close we can get to the US mainland. And that is for like regular people that don't know that, because I've been knowing that for years, and other people that study and know this shit, they know the reach that these countries got with each other and everything when it comes to nuclear weaponry and stuff like that. But to the people that don't know, that are going to get freaked out, oh my God, there's nuclear ships and there's a submarine in Cuba. Oh my God, there was this and there was that. Look, the United States naval ships escorted them motherfuckers into the Caribbean. And that's reported everywhere, letting them know, we see you, we know what you're doing, we're on top of you. So think about that though, where that is, that's the Caribbean. That's really, it's not necessarily close to the West Coast, right? It's a whole other coast. It's a whole other in the middle of the ocean out there, right? And you think about the reach that they got from there. If they wanted to, and if that was the case, if they wanted to strike, they could hit just about anywhere up in the East Coast from there, all the way past Texas, maybe even Arizona, who knows? Mexico, they can hit everywhere right there if they want. You see what I'm saying? But the point of it all is, you know, I remember that stuff. Yeah, Castro, right? Yeah, I remember that. And here's the thing, like, you know, they want people to be scared and they want people to live their lives in fear. But when you understand what we really are, we're beings of energy. We're not, I mean, we are, the energy that we got is occupying this shell, which we know as a body. You know what I'm saying? But the energy is infinite. The energy never ends. So they push fear in fear in fear, because I believe when someone passes, if they are in a state of fear, that is where they're able to trap your soul and bring it on back to this fucking hellhole that they call the world. And I believe if you are a person, a soul, and you are not in fear, and when you pass, you are passing in no kind of fear whatsoever, not fearing anything, but understanding everything, I believe that is when you are able to move on and not be trapped in this prison planet. I don't know for sure, but that's just how I feel. That's just how I feel about it. And, you know, when it comes down to it, they're just going to keep throwing this from, I mean, this is only going to get turned up. There'll be more stuff, you know, big time shit like this in the news in the next few weeks, and then a month or 2 months. It's going to go all the way out. And when it comes up to election time, watch the fucking mess that we're going to have. Bigger than we already got. But watch the mess, folks, because you're going to love this shit. We got a front row seat. I've got my popcorn, 45, AK-47, couple of steaks on the grill. I ain't drank in a while. Might have me a smoke and let it play out. I do know this, my fellow Americans, anyone watching this, and if you happen to see it after we get off live, understand, we are true Americans. I don't care what descent we come from. We are Americans. I don't care if you came from Europe. I don't care if we came from Mexico. I don't care if we came from Brazil. I don't care if we came from Canada. I don't care. If we are here in the US and you love this place and you love this country like I do, we're all fucking Americans. And if it comes time that while there's rumors of nuclear war and all this shit like it's been and shit, you know, there's some stuff cracking off in the streets ahead of time, just understand, I stand with my Americans. I stand with my fellow Americans, and I hope they stand with me. And if it comes to where we have to fight to the death to protect this country and protect our loved ones and our women that aren't fighting and aren't able to, that is what the fuck I will do. And that is what I was raised to do. That's what I was raised to do. Oh, yeah. Hog Army for sure. I got so much love for the Hangover Gang, man. I miss you guys. My interaction with you guys when I was doing all them reactions, you know, back to back, it took so much from me, right? Because the music, everything that it encompasses, the visual, the video, everything, the energy. Hey, when you're taking in that much after you've decompressed for so many years and you take in that much, oh my God, it could be overwhelming. But it's a rush and it's a great feeling. And it's weird because I feel like I know, you know, most of them, you know, most of the Hangover Gang that subscribed, that liked, that commented, that I went back and forth with. Yeah, feel like I know them. I feel like I've been knowing them. And, you know, it's one of those things. Tom, too. I've never met the dude, but I feel like I know the guy. And I've recently started doing these shorts to some of the videos that I reacted to. And I'm digging that too, because I got, you know, we all got favorite, we got songs that we like, but we also have favorite parts, favorite verses and shit like that, right? So that's what I'm doing now. And I've got some other videos, some other Tom videos that I haven't reacted to, but I'm going to do those very, very soon. I've been sticking a lot on the Raiders stuff because it's been so hot for the Raiders right now. There's a lot of news coming out. There's so much stuff out there. But at the same time, too, I'm not trying to overflood that either. I'm not trying to just you know, throw that out there. But at the same time, back on the note, we're talking about with the U.S. and our country. I have a nephew that's in the Army. He just made corporal as of yesterday, stationed in Hawaii. And this dude joined the Army because he wanted to fight for his country and he wanted to represent his country. And he wanted to follow in the footsteps of my dad. He wanted to follow in the footsteps of my grandfather. Why we never followed in those footsteps, my father felt different about the military after he got out of it than he did when he was in it. You know what I'm saying? So that's just another story. But when it comes down to it, you have to understand all this, in my estimation, in my opinion, in many people's opinion, this is all planned. This is all planned, everything. All this, everything with Trump, with Biden, with his son, with fucking Russia, with China, Cuba, stuff in Mexico, and everything else going on around us. Everything else going on around us is no fucking coincidence. This shit, they're doing what they're supposed to do. Okay, with their technology. They're doing everything they're supposed to do. They're doing everything they need to do to scare people. Manuel Rodriguez, what's up? Raiders in the motherfucking house. Raiders in the motherfucking house. Hey, bro, real quick. Hey, bro, you've been hearing all that stuff they've been talking about at Raider camp, right? That the defense is tearing shit up. And that O'Connell and Minshew haven't looked too good, both of them. And a lot of people are starting to say, oh, we put our money in this quarterback and we didn't even have a quarterback. We basically signed a backup and O'Connell this and O'Connell that. Look, man. Yeah, Barron Trump. That's crazy. I know you read that book about Barron Trump back in the days, right? I'll touch more on that in a little bit, but back to the Raiders. All the Raider fans out there and some of the podcasters talking trash about the Raiders offense and the Raiders quarterbacks, and it's only letting us know that we supposedly have a glaring hole at quarterback. Look, the offense is barely starting to pick up the installation of the new offense. They're learning it. Everyone except Devontae Adams is learning it. Okay, that's one. Number one. Number two, our defense is no fucking slouch anymore. These guys are legitimate. And then they've added Christian Wilkins. Okay, we got legitimate linebacker in the middle. We got legitimate man in the middle. We got Crosby and Kuntz on the edge. Wilson. We got some safeties to back it up. We got good fucking corners. This defense is really, really good. And people are not taking that into consideration. It's just mini camp, but you can see some stuff in mini camp. But at the same time, that defense we got is going to make a lot of offenses look weak. Not only ours in practice. Who knows our players and our offense better than our defense? So that's how I look at it. Some people want to down talk O'Connell. They want to down talk Minshew. Look, dude, both these guys are going up against a grade A. I'm going to say it now, like we said it before, top 5 defense. The season hasn't started, but if we go into the season healthy and stay that way for majority of the season, we'll be a top 5 defense. If not, like Antonio Pierce said, the best defense in the league. No, we're all allowed. Everyone's allowed. No, I was just touching on the Raiders, and that's just what I wanted to touch on the Raiders. But back to what we're talking about. Miss 5250, Jennifer Clark. What we're talking about, do you think sports? Yes. They're all tied in together. It's all sports entertainment. It's all WWE now. I even think football is rigged. Don't get it twisted. But it's rigged in a way to control people's energy. Like, I think it's so rigged, okay, that in a year or two, my Raiders are going to be in the Super Bowl. And if not, if not this year, next year, we're going to be going deep into the playoffs, because here's the thing. It's all about money and control. And they love what the Super Bowl did in Las Vegas. And they're like, imagine if we can have playoff games there. And if we can have an AFC championship game there until the Super Bowl comes back in a few years, we can tap into that money and control the Raider fan base. Because once the Raiders win a Super Bowl, imagine the amount of people, which the Raider fan base is really, really deep. It's one of the deepest fan bases in all of sports. It transcends the U.S., Mexico, it's worldwide. And I'm not just tooting our horn, it's just what it is. The Shield is worldwide, and it's been for years. So imagine when they tap into that fan base and feed off of that energy, all of that fucking energy. And you know who I'm talking about when I say they. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, the stuff with Russia, the stuff with Cuba, the stuff with China, the stuff with Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, CAYTLIN Clark, P. Diddy did it, whatever. Eminem coming out with a song. Think about the timing of all this. One thing I know that I'm ready for, old Tommy Boy's got a video coming out on Friday. Am I right? And I'm ready. I'm mother flying ready. And it's just one of those things, though, man. You can't let fear run your life, okay? Anything that is of the flesh can be corrupted. Anything that is of the flesh can be corrupted. Your brain is of the flesh. Your body's of the flesh. Your soul cannot be taken from you unless you offer it up, unless you give it up. And that will be one of the stupidest things you could ever do, is sell your soul. But that's the way it works, folks. Friday is Tom Day, and I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be on that thing, and I'm just so interested and so intrigued and excited to hear what it is that he's coming out with, and to see it, and to see the next masterpiece. Because at this point, he's in God mode, and I trust everything that he drops from here on out. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm getting? So it's just, I don't know, man. There's just a lot going on right now. And it's just building up to where it's more. And it's more fear. And we're not going to do that. We're not going to fall in line with that fear. We're going to stay strong. We're going to stay level-headed. We're going to trust in our spirit and our soul. Make sure that our energy is clean. Make sure we are on a high level energy frequency, a high vibration of energy, of electricity, because that's the only thing that is going to save you at the end of the day. Remember that. Remember that. Yes, I'm saying it. Being on a high energy level frequency is what's going to save you. It is what's going to save you. And if you don't believe me, that's cool. We each got to find out our own way, right? What do they say? We got to find out the hard way. What the fuck do I know? I don't know if I'm just remembering something from a prior life when I speak like this. And I don't know if it's something I've seen in a fucking movie, but I do know I feel it in my motherfucking soul, and I felt it for 20 plus years. And a lot of things that I felt, a lot of things that I've talked about have came true. Many of them, as you guys see. And it's just, we're not going to operate out of fear. Never going to operate out of fear. Only out of strength. Never operating out of desperation. Only out of strength. If we're going to operate, it's got to be on wisdom, on knowledge, on calculation, on strength. Never, never, never operate out of a small, lower level energy that is just corrupting you, and it's parasitic. You cannot be on that parasitic energy. What's a parasitic energy? The ones who are running everything. That is what they are. They are parasites. They harvest our energy. If this is too much for you, let me know. But see, this is the type of shit I've been on for years. Okay? Those are the deep state, those running everything, that control everything. They are parasites. They are energy parasites. And what they do is they feed off of our energy. That's what they do. That's why everything is played out the way they do. It's almost like when you're watching the algorithm, right? On YouTube, like when I watch it, it's like that. Sometimes they're harvesting very high. Sometimes they're harvesting very low. Sometimes they're harvesting very high. Sometimes they're harvesting very low. And that's how it goes. But one thing's for sure. Yeah, hey, you want to know something about the Bears in the 85 Super Bowl? My dad was a Walter Payton fan, and I remember watching that game with my dad. My dad won $500 on that game. I remember where I could tell you where I lived. I was living in the west side of Fresno off of Oleander and Trinity Avenues, just on the outside of Fresno Street and like C Street. West Side, Fresno, California, 1985. Early 85, right, was that Super Bowl. But yeah, man, I'm just saying, do not operate, okay, out of fear. Do not operate out of fear. Operate out of knowledge, strength, and wisdom. Simple as that. You have to trust in God. Whoever your God is, you have to trust in that spirit and make a connection with him. You should meditate more. I just recently started. Yeah, I know where Olive and First. I used to run through that motherfucker when it was the Johnny Quick out there. When they had the Johnny Quick before they turned it into all the other stores that it became. When the Johnny Quick was there, when the Johnny Quick was over around Palm and Belmont, when the Johnny Quicks were around, period. I remember that's when we were running the streets and we were doing what the fuck we were doing. And we were out there pretty fucking heavy all through the Tower District. I never ran in the Tower District because that was a different get down than what we were into at the time. I didn't discover the Tower District till I was in my 30s now and going to Bobby Salazar's and other places there, a tattoo shop or the Stuff Pipe and stuff like that. Then I started to discover, then I had friends that lived there later on. And, then I started to discover the whole Tower District and some of the nightlife they have. Not the fruity stuff. Don't get me wrong. That's not where I would go into. To those that swing that way, hey, that's cool. But me, I'm a straight man. I'm a straight heterosexual man. I know there's still fucking war on us too. But hey, what can I say? I'm a straight heterosexual man and I never got vaccinated or boosted for whatever the fuck that's worth. But that's the kind of guy that I am. You feel me? Wow, they still got I remember when I left, there was still a Johnny Quick there, but I ain't been there on that side of town when I go to Fresno in a minute. But that we used to live, there's a motel. It's called the I think it's called Hotel California now, but it used to be called Sahara Motel back in the 80s, 90s, up into the mid 2000s. We used to live in that motel, 91, 92. I used to always go to that Johnny Quick in the middle of the night when I got out of juvenile hall to go play video games with my brothers. But that's also where I learned to slang dope, was right there at that motel on that side of town, 1991, 1992, 15, 16 years old. Fresh out of juvenile hall. My mom didn't want me going nowhere. It was summertime, so I would sit on the steps and watch all the prostitutes, all the drug dealers going in and out of the room. There was like 2 rooms where there were separate drug dealers. All the prostitutes, all the drug dealers, all the drug addicts, pimps, everyone going in and out of there. That's where I learned right there in that side of town. Oh, that's crazy. Around that time? Because there was a few families and a few people living there, but it wasn't overly packed at the time, like it became years later when I drove through there and just went back to kind of reminisce, you know what I mean? It was like flooded. It was like packed full of people. When we lived there, it wasn't like that. There was a lot of rooms in between. There's probably like 6 or 7 tenants total with a couple of drug dealers on the bottom. And the lady that owned it, her name was Miss Lin. She was a Taiwanese lady. Yeah, the lady, Miss Lin, got indicted back in like late 90s, early 2000s. She was indicted because she was doing business with a lot of these drug dealers and prostitutes, where she was renting rooms out like as she was running like a brothel there, and they had drugs in there and everything all at the same time. She was making bank. They were paying her $1,200 a night. She told my mom that. My mom was really good friends with her. That lady, my mom had 6 kids, and we got my mom kicked out of a house. So that's how we ended up at the motel. We had graffiti all over the house, the cops going to the house, a lot of shit going on there. So the guy kicked my mom out. Got stuck. I was in juvenile hall. I came out, and my mom was living at the motel with my brothers and sisters. One of my brothers was in a group home. And yeah, man, the lady, Miss Lynn, used to help my mom out a lot. And my mom, we did as a family got like befriended the group of 5 dudes from Guerrero, Michoacan, Mexico, that were dealing underneath. And they made it a point after that, when they met my mom and met me, and they started talking to us and everything, and seeing that we were a poor family and shit like that, and trying to get up out of there and all that. And we were in trouble. My brother was in a group home. I'm in a juvenile hall, whatever. They became friends, and they would pay my mom like $25 a night, plus any kind of food we wanted to eat or whatever. To sit out and drink coffee, and my mom would sit on the balcony, and whenever cops would park over there by the Intimo or by the train tracks or on the other side and try to creep up there to get them, my mom, or if we were awake, which a lot of times I was, we'd just go inside the room and bang our feet on the floor, and they would hear it on the roof, and they'd jump out the back window, skirt. And we looked out for them for the whole time we were there, until we eventually, probably about 4 or 5, maybe 6 months later on that year, at the end of the year, we moved out first in Clinton to the old Hawaiian Gardens. They became the Palm Gardens after it. And then we were over there running shit, and it started to just go from there, started to grow as it came into, you know, the drug dealing aspect and all the stuff. When we started getting really heavy into the street, instead of trying to steal cars with friends and joyride like a fucking idiot, I said, if I'm gonna be committing crime, then I'm gonna be smart about it. You know what I mean? And it started making money doing that way. But hey, thank you guys for those that was watching, for those that came in. I've been on for like 34 minutes. I'm going to hop up off here. I'm going to do a couple videos tonight. Be on the lookout. I don't know when it's good to go live, so I just been popping in and out, kind of experimenting. And thank you for those watching. Thank you for those that been here. Thank you for those fucking with me. Jennifer Clark, Miss 5250. And it was the other homeboy, the Raider dude. There was a Raider. I've seen like 5 or 6 people, but there's only been you guys that have been commenting, so that's how I know you are. I cannot find the dudes. I can't find what was it, Rodriguez? Was that what his name was? I'm trying to find out who the homie, the Raider dude was, but I can't. Oh, Manuel Rodriguez was up in here. That homie too. Hey. Yeah, Miss 5250, thank you for coming up in here. And Jennifer Clark and the other homeboy and whoever else they were that I didn't see. I didn't see comment, but I seen they were in here, so they were just peeping out. I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna do some more videos here in a little bit, and then we'll come out here and we'll do the damn thing like we always do. And so, yeah, you guys have a good one, and I will chop it up with you very soon again.